the Menards Chevy Show. Each week, we travel the country to find the best of the bow tie breed. And for the second week, we're bringing you our greatest hits as we look back at the cream of the crop from the second half of our season. You're strapped in for the best of the Menards Chevy Show, presented by Rock Auto. The second half of our season started in Kansas City. Well over 1,000 cars and trucks rolled in for the annual KCI Cruise, but only one could win the Rock Auto Restored Award, and that was Roger Gleaves with his 65 C10 pickup. Is this crew cab stock?
It was something that you could go to the Chevrolet dealer and they had a silver book that they would show you. You'd order your pickup and they would ship the truck to a coach builder.
In what condition did you find this?
Fairly rusty truck, but all the pieces are available for it and you can come up with them pretty readily.
The way you described it to me, it's a bit of a Frankenstein.
The mirrors on the truck are 63 to 67 Corvette. The steering wheel is 65 Corvette teakwood wheel. The seats are 63 to 67 Corvette. A lot of GM could have happened things from the time period that the truck was built.
What parts was it important to keep stock?
I wanted it a lower stance, just wanted to kind of do a street ride, but I wanted it to look stock from the outside.
What do you have under the hood?
It's a GM Performance Parts LSX 454 with a GM Performance Parts 4L80E transmission and their wiring harness and computer for it, and it does a very good job with it. I did all the framework and all the motor and transmission and the chassis. My buddies Wayne and Will Kymig own a body shop, and they took all my Frankensteining and made it really look good and look correct.
What parts did you get from Rock Auto for this restoration?
I got a grill, and then I got a lot of the tools that I use I got through Rock Auto, and their website's user-friendly and really intuitive.
What makes you decide, okay, I'm finished?
There's only two places that you're going to end up. When you run out of money or it's shiny and done.
The wood in the bed, it's a bit of a tribute, isn't it?
Yeah. My dad was a woodworker, and he didn't understand the car hobby. They were transportation to him. He helped me lay out how the wood would go in the bed. He didn't live to see the finished product, but on sunny days like this, he gets to look down and see it. Well, he'd certainly be proud. Congratulations, Roger Gleaves, winner of the Rock Auto Restored Award at the KCI Cruise. After our stop in Kansas City, we moved on to Tennessee, nestled between Bristol Dragway and the famed Bristol Motor Speedway. Well, it's only fitting that we're here in the shadow of one of NASCAR's most famous tracks, and we find a car with some great NASCAR lineage. Alan, tell me what the connection is with this car and NASCAR.
We were lucky enough to be able to come up with a couple of the NASCAR SB2 engines that they don't use anymore. We buy the engines from the teams, and then we take them to Buck Race Engines. This motor is a 431. It's a stroker motor. It's got 10 F1 pistons. All the cylinder heads are right off of the SB2 motor, super flow heads in them and intake and stuff. So this thing makes about 700 horsepower to the rear wheels. We can make the motors stay at 180 degrees and never have any kind of oiling problems. We haven't broke one yet.
Now, I know the color's not factory. Tell me about that.
I was actually driving down the street one day and passed a car that I saw this color on, turned around and followed the car for about 2 miles to look at it with the sun hitting it, and it was a Lexus.
How about the suspension? What do you have underneath?
It's TCI front suspension, the whole front clip, complete tube chassis car underneath, and all hooks to what we built 5-length. It's actually, the car is really not lowered that much. The car that was built like this, that's where you see it is what we moved the frame up inside the car about 3 inches. It's a coilover car, and we can adjust it with what we got up and down 4 inches. It rides super, drives super. It's almost like a stock street car, suspension-wise.
Now, the interior is anything but stock.
I can't do justice to stand here and tell you about this interior because a good friend of mine, Stephen Everhart, that did this car. It's all leather, handmade. I mean, this was made out of hides. He did a lot of the design work in the car, and everything in there has a reason. And the holes in the seat are for cooling. When you're driving, behind the screen is either a fan or a stereo speaker. Then when you get into the dash here, it's all electronic, keyless start and all. Got power steering, power brakes, air conditioning, and it freezes you. It'll run you out of the car. Just a beautiful car. Just a beautiful car.
Here's another gem from Bristol. The judges made this truck the winner of the Rock Auto Restored Award. Clyde Shaffer came from Metropolis, Illinois, about 400 miles to show off this 77 pickup. Now, this truck is 41 years old. How long's your history with it?
Ordered it new from the dealership. Waited on it to come in, took a couple months. And I worked for the dealership, and I had to service it myself. They said, you got to do it. You're too picky. As well as I took care of it and everything, I still had some rust issues on it, so I decided to restore it to drive. Maybe we can take it to a show and see what it does. Got best to show with it, and so, hey, this is a new purpose for the truck. So I've been showing it now for 18 years.
Now, you trailered it here, but I understand you still drive this truck a lot.
Since I restored it in 98, I've got 89 to 90,000 on it. The interior is almost all original except for the steering wheel. The instrument panel and all that is original. Even the wood grate on the dash is an original piece from it. Suspension is stock. I've got a 3-inch body lift on it. I also added some panels front and rear under the fender wells to close it in where it didn't look like open space. The engine's not original. It's a 355 blueprint engine I put in this last winter. It's got aluminum heads on it, 10-to-1 compression, roller cam, got the headers on it. It dynoed 408 horsepower and 410 foot-pounds of torque. And I had to put a stall speed converter in it for the transmission. And now it's got all kinds of power. It's saying you got to pull the hat off your head for sure now.
What kind of parts and pieces did you get from Rock Auto?
This past winter, I put on all new fan belts from Rock Auto. I've got a master cylinder that I put on it. Cruise control transducer, I probably got 2 or 3 of those running. U-bolts and the grade 8 bolts for the suspension system on the springs, got from there. Got some spring shackles for the rear from Rock Auto. They seem to have the products I needed, and I couldn't find anywhere else.
Clyde, that 77 Scottsdale is a truck worthy of the Rock Auto Restored Award. We are just getting started, so don't go anywhere, as the best of the Menards Chevy Show presented by Rock Auto keeps cruising along.
The Menards Chevy Show is brought to you by Clamp Tight, the clamp making tool. DJS Fabrications, the best mobile car dolly built today. Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation. And by RockAuto.com, all the parts your car will ever need.
Welcome back to the best of the Menards Chevy Show presented by Rock Auto. Next stop, Petersburg, Virginia, just outside of Richmond. That's where we enjoyed Southern hospitality at Virginia Motorsports Park, and that's where Bob Jones took home the Rock Auto Restored Award in his 1962 K10 4x4. One look at this truck and I can tell that you're a paint guy. Tell me about this color.
Well, it's San Marino red, and it was a red that my wife saw and told me I needed to paint the truck that color.
What else did you do on the truck?
Took it apart, off the frame, completely went through it, had a lot of sheet metal work to do. A lot of the original NAPCO four-wheel drive stuff was not in good condition, and it was cast iron, extremely heavy, so we upgraded that to more modern four-wheel drive running gear.
Let's talk about the interior.
Power steering now, it's got air conditioning on it, more comfortable seats. They're out of a 97 Chevy pickup.
What do you have under the hood?
It's a 350 small block Chevrolet. It's a roller cam, roller rockers, roller timing chain, good size cam in it, 750 dual feet, electronic ignition, power disc brakes on the front. It's got 373s in it now, so you can drive it. Bought a bunch of engine parts from Rock Auto, brake booster, radiator, and those things.
What do you like about Rock Auto?
I like the fact you can go online, you can look at the parts, you can look it up by your vehicle, and you get it in a reasonable amount of time, quickly, delivered right to your door. You save a ton of money, that's the biggest thing, and you get a quality part.
The thing I like most about this truck is the story behind it. How were you inspired to build this?
I had an uncle, he bought a 62 3/4 ton four-wheel drive truck, took the bed off, and he made a wrecker body. And as I came up, I got intrigued with wreckers and learning how to do recovery work, and I would go with him on wrecker calls. That's what I learned to drive on, that old truck. And I just fell in love with it. Much later, after I'd done this, I went back home and showed him pictures of it, and he really got teary-eyed looking at it. One of the things, he had a foot on the gas pedal, and you'll see that on this truck.
Congratulations to Bob Jones, winner of the Rock Auto Restored Award with that awesome 62 4x4. One more entry from Petersburg, and it's a good one. It's an El Camino, and it's the winner of the OPGI Original Award. The original 68 El Camino came with a 350 under the hood, but Jimmy, you've stepped up the game a little bit. Tell me what you got.
The 350 got no respect. I showed it for about 3 years, and I had to take it out and do the big block and did the SS clone. Now it's got a 427 big block Chevrolet in it, and it's got a 700R Ford transmission, so I have the overdrive, and it has the 12-bolt rear end with 355 gears, positive traction.
How did you find this car?
I went to lunch one day and I seen this car sitting on the side of the road for sale, and I had to have it. Told my friend at work if I could sell my Z28, I'd buy it, and by the end of the day, he owned the Z28 and I owned the El Camino. And that was in 1992. Well, the car was nice when I got it, and I drove it for about a year. Busy life, so I let it sit for about 7 years, and then after that, I decided I wanted to show it, so we tore it all apart and redid it all from one end to the other. About everything else other than interior stitching, I did myself. The seats came out of a Mitsubishi Eclipse, and had a friend of mine recover them, and we built a custom console to go in it, custom door panels. The rest of the interior is fairly stock. Put a custom dash in it with new gauges, and of course custom stereo in the console. Not a lot to an interior for El Camino, kind of small.
What kind of things did you get from OPG for this car?
Well, I got lots of trim parts from OPG. You can buy the fender trim, the grille parts, the mirrors, window trim, all that kind of stuff. It was easy to do. They had everything in stock. You just call them up, give them a credit card, they come right to you. And they fit well.
What kind of comments do you get when you're cruising along in this car?
A lot of comments on the wood bed.
I keep calling it a car. Is it a car or a truck?
It's actually titled as a truck, but it looks more like a car to me.
Doesn't really matter if it's a car or a truck. Either way, it looks like the winner of the OPGI Original Award in Virginia. Keep it right here as the best of the Menards Chevy Show presented by Rock Auto continues. We're glad you're back. This is the best of the Menards Chevy Show from 2018 presented by Rock Auto. Let's head out to the West Coast for a stop at one of the most storied drag strips in the country, Auto Club Famoso Raceway in Bakersfield. That's where we met Larry Board, who showed us his incredible classic Nova.
It's a 1966 L79 Nova. It's 1 year only with a 327, 350 horse. It's a two-owner car. I've owned it for about 10 years and it has 52,000 miles on it. I try to keep all the documentation that I got from the car. Also sent away to have the VIN numbers checked out to make sure that it was at the dealer, that it shows that it was bought at, and all the numbers match on it. It's an Ohio car, unbelievable. Everybody bought them because they were cheap. They're under, $3,000. And they cut them up, they tub them, they race them, they slalom, they do all kinds of things because they're a cheap car. It's hard to find when it's all stock, really, anymore.
So then this thing was in really good shape when you found it.
Yeah, rust-free.
And how did you find it?
I had a friend, gave me a call, says I found one that I think you would really be interested in, and I jumped on it.
What were some of the hardest details to capture to make this look stock?
The resonators that was on them were kind of rusty and everything. There's a guy that I had found in Nevada. Took him years and years, but he perfected making the resonators for it. So now it's perfectly like it came from the showroom.
What made you decide to go with the 66 Nova?
You don't see them around that much. You see a lot of Chevelles, you see a lot of Camaros, and so I wanted something different, break the mold from everything else.
Tim Miller asked us which car he should bring to the show. We heard his story and we voted for both. Check out the winner of the Rock Auto Restored Award and you'll see why.
Well, both sets of my grandparents bought 1957 Chevys from a dealership in Shafter. Actually, the red car was purchased first, and about 2 weeks later, the other grandparents bought their car. So I figured there might have been a little bit of a staying up with the Joneses thing going on. My first experience riding in these cars for years was in diapers. As I grew older, we went everywhere in these cars. Vacations, we used to take my cousin to the dentist all the time. I've got a storyboard that I keep with both the cars, and I've had many of a person come up after they read that story with tears in their eyes. And like I said, they're just cars, but it's not the cars, it's the people that have the cars.
When you got the cars, what kind of condition were they in?
Well, they were pretty tired. The paint needed to be redone. Actually, everything needed to be redone.
Of course, when you're restoring everything, Rock Auto is a good place to start. What did you get from them?
Virtually everything, to be honest. Anything that you want for a car, they've got, and that's the truth.
What do you like best about using Rock Auto's website?
Well, it's quick and easy. You just pick what you want off the menu, and they send it to you very gladly in just a few days. The red car belonged to my grandparents, Lester and Iona Miller. It came with a 235 Chevy engine, chrome on the sides. My grandfather loved this car. One time he put it in a shop and they couldn't keep it inside all night. So he actually slept in this car with a coat and a shotgun. Nobody was going to tangle with this car.
Now, the station wagon is a looker, and you've won a lot of awards wherever you've gone. Tell me about that car.
The wagon was George and Addie Warren. One time at Famoso, I was actually lucky enough that Shirley Mill Downey picked that wagon. Come Sunday, I was supposed to meet her at the track, but they had a really bad windstorm come up and shut the show down, so I never got a chance to thank Shirley Mill Downey for picking my car. But I would like Shirley to know that she about made me cry that day, and I almost did it again. But I thank you from the bottom of my heart, Shirley, for picking my car, and God bless you.
Congratulations, Tim Miller, for keeping such great memories alive and for taking home the Rock Auto Restored Award in Bakersfield. Grab a snack, but come right back because you're going to love what we have for you next. We head to Orlando for a classic Camaro and a cool Canadian cousin of the Chevy 2. They're here on the Best of the Menards Chevy Show from 2018, presented by Rock Auto.
The Menards Chevy Show is brought to you by Heat Shield Products, America's high-performance insulation. R3 Performance, quality parts, attention to detail, and innovative design. Champion Cooling Systems, high-performance aluminum radiators. And by RockAuto.com, all the parts your car will ever need.
This is the Menards Chevy Show Best of 2018, presented by Rock Auto. Our final stop of the year, Ace Cafe, Orlando. Here's a car I bet you haven't seen before. I know I haven't. It's brought to you by Zing Tea, and it's naturally cool.
Well, a quick look will tell you this is a 1967 Nova, but if you take a look up front, hey, that's the front end of a 1966. And you look at the badging, it says Canso. So what does that mean? Well, this is an Acadian out of Canada, and Tara Bush owns this beauty. She found it in Vancouver. What is an Acadian?
Acadian was the Canadians' own brand. GM of Canada came up with the brand, and they sold through Pontiac and Buick dealerships. And it went on from 64, I think it is, but the Acadian name was on the Chevelle, and then they switched to the Beaumont name, and then the Acadian followed the Nova up into the early mid-70s. But they're very rare.
What was this car like when you found it?
It was pretty much like it is now. It was painted in '91.
What in this car is still stock, and what has been changed?
Well, the original motor's still in it, 283 power glide transmission. I changed the front end and we put a beefier suspension on it so I wouldn't go through the tires on the Power Tour. So the alignment now holds. And then of course air conditioning and the rear end of the gear, I had to change that a little bit to get better gas mileage on the Power Tour.
What kind of questions do you get when you roll up in this thing?
Why would anybody put those chrome things on the fender? Did you do that? No, it's factory. Then they go, what is it? They'll walk by, stop, back up, look at it, and then you get that funny little look. So then you have to tell them what it is.
Nice car, eh? Well, thanks to Tara Bush for showing off that Canadian classic. It's brought to you by Zing Tea, and it's naturally cool. Last but not least on today's show, a 69 Camaro that's well deserving of the Rock Auto Restored Award from the Ace Cafe, Orlando.
You'll find a lot of cars at every car show that are restored from the ground up, and that's great. But here's one that's 50 years old and almost entirely original. Ned, tell me about this car.
It's a 69 Z28 coupe, 46,000 original miles. It's got all the original assembly line correct parts on it. It's a 302, 290 horse, got a Muncie M21 4-speed with a 355 Posi rear. I was looking for a Corvette actually, and I ended up on eBay when I found this one for sale, and it didn't meet reserve, so I flew out to California to look at it and bought the car.
What have you done to it since you got it?
I pulled off the suspension, rebuilt everything, repainted everything, but used all the original parts that came from the factory. Starter, water pump, and the brake booster were all aftermarket parts when I got it, and I searched and found the part numbers with the correct date codes and put them on the car. When I found the starter, I bought it, and then a couple weeks later I found another one, so I bought that, and then found a third. Same thing with the water pumps. Run across a couple of brake calipers that were rebuilt that have the exact date code and part number that I needed, so I bought those. I got them all sitting in a cabinet in my garage in case I ever need them.
It's easy to look at this interior and think that you probably redid everything in there, but that's not the case, right?
No, the interior is 100% original. Got the original steering wheel, original carpet, door panels. Actually pulled the door panels off to clean them, and they're date coated on the back. Carpeting, I peeled it up. It still has the old insulation on the floor. It's all cracked, but it's all the original. I just put the carpet right back down. At the time I bought the car, I didn't realize it was as original as it is. Over a period of time and having people look at it, and certified by Jared McNeish, the Camaro expert, found out that it was more original than I thought. So it was very important for me to put it back and make sure I kept it that way.
How much do you rely on Rock Auto?
I have 3 Chevys now. I have a Chevelle, a Corvette, and the Camaro. And I bought a number of parts from Rock Auto for all 3 vehicles. Their website is extremely easy to use. Their customer service is second to none. When you order parts, you get them quick, and the prices are always right where they should be.
Ned Cohen and his '69 Camaro Z28, winner of the Rock Auto Restored Award in Orlando. What a car and what a year. Thanks for joining us for the Best of the Menards Chevy Show presented by Rock Auto. Until we meet again, this is Dave Dobson for our entire crew saying so long. See you next time on the Menards Chevy Show.